Okay, so in the previous segment, we have been talking about inertial frame and earth fixed frame. Now we will be talking about the center of gravity and instantaneous rotation or center of instantaneous rotation, because we have been talking about gravity a little bit in the last segment. So firstly, the center of gravity. I think most of you have been very, very familiar with COG because that's the first thing that you're looking for in a vessel. If the vessel is rented and then you need to install all the equipment from zero, the first thing you want to know is the center of gravity. So I just like to kind of refresh what it is. So center of gravity is basically the point on a rigid body in which the resultant of the weight of the particles of the body acts. So the key here is the resultant, basically. So that's where it's the most stable, up and down. It's not moving anywhere. And again, we can suspend the object from without there being any rotation because of the force of gravity. That's basically why if, for example, we are holding a block of wood and then we hold it right on the COG, even if it's moving, it will not be falling down because it's at the most stable part. So that's basically the COG. But again, we're not dealing with a simple block or just a simple shaped body. We always, we always deal with an unusually shaped object. How do we actually find the center of gravity? So this is a very, very practical and easy explanation, I think, but I really hope that this example will make you understand what it means. So this is an unusually shaped object. So the first thing you want to know is to kind of make like 3 points, basically. So the first point, you rotate it into its center of gravity. So for example, I've got an object in here, and this is my hard drive. So you want to kind of hold it like that. I think you can see that. And then you want to kind of draw your first line of gravity. So that's our first line of gravity. Then we rotate it again in another form, for example, just like that. Just make it free fall. Free fall is the key. So you've got another line of gravity in there, and then another one. Then you've got another line of gravity. So when you've got at least 3 lines of gravity, that's basically the intersection. That's where your COG is. So the concept is basically, if you're, for example, again, this hard drive, if you're holding it like this, it will have a tendency to fall or to be slanted or whatever it is, because it always, it loves gravity. Okay, everything on this earth loves gravity, so it's not hovering or flying. But if you hold it at the center of gravity, then that's it. It doesn't really, it doesn't really be, the gravity doesn't really attract that object too much. So that's the center of gravity. Now, something that is less familiar is the center of instantaneous rotation, or CIR. So CIR is basically the point on a rigid body in which the velocity is 0 at any given instant. So like, for example, again, our unusually shaped body. So that's our line of gravity. So we know that this body is measured to be moving in v1 velocity. And then the second one, like the same body, but different position, different point, is moving towards the same direction with a velocity of v2. So v2 is greater than v1 in here. So to find the center of instantaneous rotation of CIR, the only thing we need to do is to kind of draw the line, like a continuous line between those two vectors. And when the line is intersecting with the line of gravity, that's basically where your CIR is. So what is CIR actually? So CIR is basically, again, the velocity is always 0. So if the body is moving continuously, for example, like this, the CII stands still, but the whole body is moving. And we can see that V1 is moving that way, V2 is moving that way. And together they're actually moving in a rotation kind of way. So that's very important to see, especially in the mechanical probably. So we can know where the center of instantaneous rotation is, where it is actually, where is it focused on. And when we know the center of instantaneous rotation, we will be able to calculate the omega. And then again, the omega is basically this one. If we kind of switch off the equation in here, we can calculate the omega by basically just measuring from here to there, for example. So you've got the R, and then you've got the V in there, then you've got the omega. And the other way around, if we know everything in here, if we know the V and we know the omega, sorry, then you will know all the linear velocities that is governing in that body. For example, that point, we just measure the R, and then perpendicular to that R, that's basically where the vector is, and then you will basically know the V1.